Okay. Heart anatomy. Okay, so let me start here. The first here, heart is having four chambers. With the help of diagrams, we are going to try to learn everything about the heart. So here I am saying here there are four chambers in the heart. Right atria, left atria, right ventricle and left ventricle. Okay. So talking about these, the right atria and left atria. Right atria and left atria are separated by interatrial septum. Interatrial septum separates the right atria with the left atria. Then the right ventricle and left ventricle are get separated by interventricular septum. Interventricular septum. Okay, next. Atria to the ventricles. Atria and ventricle are separated by atria and ventricles are separated by atrioventricular septum. Yeah, diagram explains everything here. In this particular diagram, we are trying to learn about the things. We're trying to learn about the things which explains the septum, separation, only separation. Issues of the separation we are discussing now. Number one, interatrial septum. What we are saying here, interatrial septum. Interatrial septum separates the atria into right atria and left atria. Right atria and left atria. Okay, number two, interventricular septum. Interventricular septum separates the ventricle into right ventricle and left ventricle. Right ventricle and left ventricle. Okay, next. The atrioventricular septum. Atrioventricular septum separates the atria, that heart, into that atria and ventricles. Okay, so these are the septums which we are going for. Septums only, exclusive septums on the left side. You'll find on the diagram and their description. Is it clear? Yeah, right atria, left atria are separated by interatrial septum. Right ventricle, left ventricle are separated by interventricular septum. Atria and ventricles are separated by atrioventricular septum. Okay, then next, the next diagram which we are going to show that particular, let me show you. Yes, yes. Okay, okay, wait a minute. Okay, then as usual, this is right atria, left atria, right ventricle, left ventricle. Okay, then there is an opening here. Opening. Yeah. What is the opening called? No, I am asking about opening. The right atria opens into the right ventricle with the help of right atrioventricular aperture. Right atrioventricular aperture. Left atria opens into the left ventricle through left atrioventricular aperture. Opening. Aperture, the meaning of aperture is opening. Left atria which opens into the left ventricle through left ventricular aperture. Okay. So who is that making noise? So let me write that. Right atria opens into the right ventricle. Right atria opens into the right ventricle through right atrioventricular aperture. Right atrioventricular aperture. Okay. Next, in the same way, left atria opens into the. Here, diagram explains everything, and all these diagrams which we are going to do here are completely imaginary, hypothetical, that doesn't resemble the original heart. This is my heart, which I mean so, which hypothetical. Left atria opens into the left ventricle through left atrioventricular aperture. Left atrioventricular aperture. Okay, now the particular apertures are guarded by. The right atrioventricular aperture is guarded by. Right atrioventricular aperture is guarded by tricuspid wall. That you can say now. Yeah, just I am showing here with the imaginary tricuspid wall. Okay, left atrioventricular aperture is guarded by bicuspid wall. Let me show here. This is tricuspid wall.
Tricuspid valve.
Yeah, so that means you need to find out the difference. First of all, I said there is an opening, and now I am saying that opening is guarded by. Okay, so that difference you people need to identify. Okay, next, let's write the same here. This diagram only meant for to know the apertures and their that particular walls which they guard. Okay, so left atria. So simply now you can say here, right atrioventricular aperture is guarded by. Right atrioventricular aperture is guarded by tricuspid wall. Tricuspid wall. Okay, that opening is guarded by tricuspid wall. Next, left atrioventricular aperture is guarded by. Left atrioventricular aperture is guarded by bicuspid wall, or also called bicuspid wall is also said to be mitral wall. Yeah, mitral wall. We say it as mitral wall. So that's it. Is it clear, this screen? Even you can ask in future about the heart, but by looking towards, sir, frame 1 is not, and I didn't understand. Frame 2, likewise. Diagrams explains everything. All the imaginary diagrams see that. Is it clear? Yeah. Now we'll go to the next diagram. Next diagram, what these chambers do. This is a regular one. We said already in the basics, but those are absent for the basics. This is going to be helpful. Okay. These are guarded through. Okay, let's try small, little smaller. Means the main function of these particular chambers. Okay, chambers function we are talking. The right atria, this is the right atria, left atria, right ventricle and left ventricle. Then right atria is going to receive blood from body parts. As again I am saying here, this is all that particular vessels, not original, their respective positions I am drawing here. A imaginary diagram. Superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Right atria, which collects the blood from, most of you know this actually, collect the blood from body parts, collect the blood from body parts. Okay, with the help of superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Okay, so that only. What blood it is collecting? Even we discussed this in deoxygenated blood. Okay, so that I am writing here. The what we are going to write here, that whatever there on the diagram. So that right atria, in the angle of right atria, we need to discuss this. Right atria, receive, very important, receive or collect, receive blood, deoxygenated blood, you can say, deoxygenated blood from the body parts with the help of superior vena cava or two precaval veins, even you can say inferior vena cava, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Right atria receive deoxygenated blood from the body parts with the help of superior vena cava, inferior vena cava. The same way, left atria, we are talking about, we need to talk about left atria. Left atria collects the oxygenated blood,
Oxygenated
yeah,
blood
from
of pulmonary vein.
lungs with the help of pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein, you see here. So with that, we can say here that what we can say here, the left atria. What left atria is doing? Left atria receive, collect, whatever it is, receive or collect, receive oxygenated blood from the lungs with the help of pulmonary vein, with the help of pulmonary vein. Left atria receive oxygenated blood from the lungs with the help of pulmonary vein. Which is what we came to understand here. Can I call all the atria in collection only? Yeah, receive, nothing but collection.
Yes, sir.
Receive meaning is collection. Okay, so that means whatever the myths you have on the heart be previous, that all will go now. That you just on left side you are observing, they are receiving only, they are collecting only. All the atria in collection only. Okay. Right atria collects, left atria collects. Means right atria collect from body part, left atria collect from, left atria is collecting from lungs. Left atria is collecting from lungs with the help of pulmonary vein. Okay. Then interestingly, there is no walls. Okay. Opening of vena cava and pulmonary veins into the right and left atria, are without walls. There is no any walls here that you have to remember, and just need to remember me when I go for artery veins differences. We'll see in the end of this particular topic. Okay, so they are without walls. So that's it about atria. In this diagram, we are just talking about the atria, which right atria opens, right atria receive the blood from the superior and inferior vena cava. Left atria receive the blood from lungs with the help of pulmonary vein. Okay, next diagram.